Beyond the Forecast with Grant Tosterud. The science of weather in New Mexico. What makes the land of enchantment so unique? To understand, let's go Beyond the Forecast.
Hello and welcome to Beyond the Forecast, where we get a chance to dive into the science of New Mexico's weather. I'm Chief Meteorologist Grant Tosterud, joined today by meteorologist Josh Redwine. And Josh, you know, a lot of weather happens in New Mexico, partly because we cover such a large area.
Yeah, we got a little bit of everything out across the state, so it can be really exciting to see what different things that we do encounter on a day-to-day basis.
Right, but the problem is, because we have such a large area, is that we don't always get to see the forecast validate or see what happens with the weather all across the state. So that's where viewer videos and viewer pictures come in handy. We love getting the emails of when these come in, but some of these just really blow us away. Some of these videos and pictures can just be incredible. So today, we're taking some time to go through a few of these viral weather videos we've gotten over the last year, break them down, and really try and go into the science behind what's causing these certain weather phenomena. So without further ado, let's get to our first weather video. This first video we're taking a look at here is from 2024. This is up in the Jemez Mountains, and what you're seeing here is actually a tornado developing up in the mountains on May 11th, 2024. This tornado occurred at an elevation of 8,150 feet above sea level. It was only about a quarter mile long. It thankfully didn't cause any damage, so this is officially going down as an EF unknown. If you don't know, an EF scale is based on the amount of damage, not the wind speed, when it comes to tornadoes. So if they go out there and survey it and there's no damage from this video or from the tornado, they'll rate it as an EF unknown. So that's a little bit of good news there for sure. There were no injuries with this tornado as well, but it's really incredible video of this tornado up in the Jemez Mountains.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so interesting to see, you know, those tornadoes in those higher elevations like that. I know a lot of people think that just because it's in the mountains, you can't have, like, tornadoes can't form. But fun fact is this is like the second or third highest elevation tornado in the state of New Mexico that we've ever seen. So, yeah.
Yeah, right. It's still a pretty incredible video to see, because I remember this day too when this warning was issued. It was last summer, obviously. It was May 11, 2024. And I remember getting on my radar app and seeing that a tornado warning had been issued. And I looked to see where it was, and it was up in the Jemez Mountains. And I was really kind of blown away by the location. And I remember Josh calling me that day too, being like, what do you think is going on here? Yeah. Like, should I cut in for this? And I was like, yeah, I probably should, because you know, there's still people that live up in the Jemez Mountains, of course.
Absolutely. I was on my way into work, and I got that notification that the warning was out, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to get there. Yeah. I have to get on real quick. But luckily, everything worked out. There were no injuries or anything like that. But still, it's so impressive to see it.
Yeah, this is actually the 11th tornado ever recorded in Sandoval County since records began in 1883. And like Josh mentioned, potentially the second highest elevation tornado on record. The highest elevation tornado on record was in Sequoia National Park in California. It was recorded in 2004 on video too. There's a video out there of this at over 12,000 feet in elevation. And we kind of mentioned this a little bit earlier as well. There's a myth out there that, you know, the reason we don't see tornadoes, or supposedly don't see tornadoes here in New Mexico, is because of the mountains. But this video is evidence that that's not true at all. You know, you need a few ingredients for tornadoes to develop as well. You know, you need this kind of equation we use. It's called SLIM. It's kind of an easy way to remember. You need shear, that's the S, L, lift, I, instability, and then M, moisture. You kind of need all of those ingredients to come together to create a thunderstorm, let alone a supercell thunderstorm, one that's spinning and create that kind of rotation and produce a tornado.
Absolutely. And luckily, all of those, well, not luckily, but that day, all of those things just happened to come together right in the right time up in the Jemez. But luckily, it was far enough away from civilization, more or less. Not a lot of people were in that location. But it's also pretty cool that it's so much harder for those tornadoes to form due to those cooler and more stable air that are typically in those more mountainous regions.
Right, which is why I think there's this kind of misconception that they don't usually happen, because it's very rare still for tornadoes to form in the mountains. And, you know, we've gone out to plenty of weather academies too, where we talk to kids and they all think that the reason we don't have tornadoes here is because of the Sandias or the Manzanos or mountains all across New Mexico. But, you know, theoretically, if a thunderstorm was able to produce a tornado, that mountain wouldn't necessarily just stop that tornado. It would just simply go up and over the mountains, you know, just as if it was moving over flat land. So just because we have mountains here in New Mexico doesn't mean that we don't get tornadoes. In fact, back in 2018, there was another instance of a tornado up in the mountains. This was up near Eagle Nest in the Moreno Valley. And I think this would actually be another good video for one of these future episodes where we talk about these viral weather videos, because that was also a tornado high in elevation, about 9,000 feet above sea level. So it definitely happens, and it can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So don't rule it out. I mean, a lot of times people are just thinking eastern New Mexico, that's where we're getting, if we're seeing a tornado, that's where it's going to happen, just because it's so flat and the plains out there. But don't rule it out.
Yeah, exactly.
It can happen anywhere.
It can happen anywhere, even up in the mountains. Well, coming up, we have another viral weather video for you. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Beyond the Forecast, where today we're breaking down the science behind some viral weather videos that have been sent in by you from across New Mexico. Josh has our next video.
Yeah, absolutely. So our next video is from June the 30th of 2024. So we saw some burn scar flooding down towards Ruidoso, causing some major issues out across that area of the state. And just some background for that is it started based off of those massive fires that we had, the South Fork and the Salt fires down towards Ruidoso, and just the fact of those areas being burned, the rain that came through, just torrential downpours over and over again, pretty much just flooded all of these streets. Highway 70 is the highway that we're looking at when we see this video here as well.
Yeah, these fires started on June 17th, and then just a couple days later, we went from fires to floods in such a short amount of span. There was actually a tropical storm that developed down over the Gulf of Mexico, and some of that moisture got drawn up into the Sacramento Mountains and here into New Mexico, and kind of kicked off our monsoon season last year in what we called kind of a fake monsoon. It had the similar pattern set up, but wasn't really quite the monsoon pattern. And that fire started, it spread rapidly. Unfortunately, it caused some really severe damage around the Ruidoso area last year from the South Fork and Salt fire. And then you get all that heavy rain to fall over these burn scars. And this video, like you said, is an example of what we saw multiple times last year.
Yeah, Ruidoso got hit several times with those flooding from just after those fires had been extinguished all the way up through into July. And so we did see from those fires, once again, those two separate fires. The South Fork fire burned over 17,000 acres, with the Salt fire burning nearly 8,000 acres. So once again, all of that mud and soot and everything like that with those heavy downpours just carried everything through the streets of Ruidoso, messing several things.
Yeah, so if we could take a look at that video now, let's do that.
And you can see that dumpster there flowing through the street. You know, those dumpsters are so heavy in weight. That
Hundreds, if not thousands of pounds.
Exactly. That just shows you the intensity of that water. And
the cars that are flipped over as well. You know, you see the video of the dumpster flowing down the street, but you also see these cars that have just been swept away or even pushed over by this water. I mean, yeah, this is just incredible video. I remember this last year, and it was scary to watch the fires happen. And then they get all the heavy rain, and it was just horrific to then watch all of the flooding. And like we said, this didn't occur just once or even twice. We had instances of this that occurred on June 29th through the 30th, July 9th through the 10th, July 19th through the 21st, July 29th, August 2nd, August 12th, and finally, one of the last times we kind of saw the severe flooding down there was on September 2nd. Yeah. And it doesn't take a lot of water to cause these kind of scenes either.
Exactly. And I mean, notice it's not even raining in the video there. So it can cause these flash flooding events well beyond where it's actually those showers and storms are coming in. So those showers and storms were pretty much over those burned scars. And then further down the mountain, as you can see the impacts of that. Yeah,
that brings up such a great point too, Josh, is that especially during the monsoon, it doesn't have to be raining where you're at to see flash flooding. I mean, those thunderstorms that caused that flooding were miles away from where that video was. It was up into the higher elevations of the Sacramento Mountains, kind of east or west rather of Ruidoso proper up there. And then all that water comes flooding down into the canyons and down streets and rivers. And I mean, we had bridges washed out last year, homes, businesses just destroyed from all that flooding. Here's some really interesting facts about rushing water too. It only takes 6 inches of rushing water to knock a person off their feet and sweep them away. It takes about a foot or 12 inches to wash away most vehicles, and then it just takes 24 inches of rushing water, which is about what we saw there, to carry away SUVs and trucks or even dumpsters.
Yeah, exactly. And this is still going to be an ongoing problem because this burn scar flooding, and these burn scars, they're not just after, 3 or 4 months after we saw those flooding events. We could still see those coming up this monsoon season.
That's the thing, exactly. It takes years for these burn scars to actually heal. In fact, I think there's been studies done that show it takes about 4 or 5 years for burn scars to fully heal enough where we don't run into this kind of burn scar flash flooding. So it's definitely going to be another concern, something we'll be watching all summer long and every summer for the next couple of years. And we have a nice little explanation, too, about why this occurs.
Yeah, absolutely. So burn scar flooding, pretty much that top layer of soil, pretty much is very thick, and it pretty much absorbs that rain. Once those fires come through, they kind of burn off that top layer of the surface, and all the rain itself is not able to absorb below that top soil and into that subsurface. So as that fire sweeps through it, it quickly strips away those trees and it burns the undergrowth. Further down the line, once that burnt topsoil comes back into play, extreme heat from that fire really seals it. And it does not allow that rain to kind of soak in to that under layer, and that in turn results in those flash flooding and all of those debris flows and those burn scar areas.
Right. So, I mean, like we've said before, this is something that we could be dealing with for the next few years. And Ruidoso isn't the only area across the state either that has seen this kind of burn scar flash flooding. I think a lot of people will remember all the burn scar flash flooding we saw last year and the year before from the Hermit's Peak Calf Canyon burn scar area. And we're still going to be running into that again this summer and maybe for another year or two.
So, you're never just in the clear, especially the few following years after, just because you think that that one summer we saw the fires, so now it's over. No, it's still going to have those impacts.
But we're still, without a doubt, going to be seeing that effect of burn scar flash flooding because, like Josh was saying earlier in that graphic, that fire can burn so hot that it almost seals that top layer of the ground so that water can absorb into it. And then you have all the trees and brush that would normally slow that water down as it rushes down the canyon side, but it's gone. Exactly. You don't have any of that anymore to slow down that water, so it just gravity just causes it to rush down the roads and the rivers, and unfortunately causes scenes like that. It's kind of amazing to see that video because, I mean, that's right in the middle of town, too. Yeah. I think, again, a lot of people remember the Hermit's Peak Calf Canyon burn scar flooding we saw from last year, but that was over mostly rural areas. This is right in the middle of a city.
Yeah, so several people, businesses, everything, they lost everything that they had due to this flooding, and we saw it time and time again. They would start to rebuild weeks after, and then another flooding event would come through.
And it's something to be aware of, too. I mean, if you have any plans to go visit Ruidoso during the monsoon season, go do it. It's a beautiful mountain town, especially with all the trees down there. But it's something to be aware of because, all it takes is just one thunderstorm off in the distance or where you're at to create scenes like that to cause flash flooding. And there's a really easy little slogan that, meteorologists use is just turn around, don't drown. If there's running water over the roadways, don't drive through it, don't walk through it. It might not look like it's very deep, but you can't always tell how deep that water is just by looking at it.
For sure.
All right. So we have one more video for you coming up after the break. We're going to show you this Dust Devil video that's one of the best Dust Devil videos I've ever seen in my entire life. So stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Beyond the Forecast. We have one more viral weather video for you today. And here in New Mexico, we're no strangers to dust devils at all. We've all seen them. Maybe you've even driven through one or been stuck in one. Yeah. It's not a pleasant experience if you've ever done so. But this video that we're about to show you right now is probably one of the most incredible dust devils I have ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, absolutely. This dust devil, it's so fascinating to see these dust devils just form and how giant they can become from time to time.
Exactly. So let's take a look at that video right now. This video was sent to us last summer, May 27th, 2024, from Blue Water Lake. This is out in western New Mexico. It's west of Grants, kind of in the Zuni Mountains there. And this is just insane. I mean, this looks like just a massive tornado tearing through this area. I mean, the water there in the foreground, but then obviously the dust devil there in the distance that they're taking a picture of. And what's more incredible about this video too is like, oh, I remember seeing this and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a big dust devil. And then it gets bigger and gets bigger and gets bigger. And I mean, this video just gets better and better as you watch it.
Yeah, you can see off in the distance, just ahead of the dust devil there, it picking up some of those, tents and kind of throwing them around a little bit. But it just, they can be so incredibly powerful as well. Those, you don't want to be caught in a dust devil, especially if you're not protected by, your car or anything like that, just because that's going to be a very unpleasant experience.
Yeah, you're kind of getting sandblasted in that dust devil out there. What's really cool too is you see all the dust getting picked up at the base of it, and then it kind of clears out the higher up it gets, but you can still kind of see that cone of the dust devil and just how tall it is. Like I said, this is probably one of the widest dust devils I have ever seen here in New Mexico, and we get new dust devils frequently. It's also pretty incredible to watch the video if we can watch it one more time here. And you see the wind on everything as well. Like they have tents that are stationed up out there on the side of the lake. Obviously they're out there fishing or sitting by the beach. And then this dust devil just comes through. It forms where they're at. I mean, this thing has to be a few hundred feet wide at least.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, if you're looking at the tents there, it's probably got to be wind speeds of 40, 50, 60 miles per hour. I mean, that tent's almost about to get picked up right there. And towards the end of this video, you can even see some debris lofted up with this dust devil too. I mean, I could watch this over and over again. I mean, I've seen dust devils that are maybe 10 feet wide at most.
Yeah.
But not hundreds of feet wide like this one. It's really incredible to watch. I just can't get over it. I could watch it all day long, honestly, because I'm still just so blown away by it. Because if you saw this right here, you would think that that's a tornado.
Yeah, absolutely. And people will easily get those two confused, a dust devil and a tornado, because they are very similar, but they are not the same.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah, they actually form a little bit differently. A dust devil is more in common with what's called a land spout, as they form a little bit differently than a tornado does. A tornado forms when you have a supercell thunderstorm. So like we saw earlier in the show, we talked about that tornado up in the Jemez Mountains. That was formed by a supercell. But these dust devils form a little bit differently because you get this daytime heating from the sun. It heats the ground. That warmer air rises up into the atmosphere. And as it does so, it creates this area of low pressure down at the ground. That low pressure kind of sucks air in from around it and forces it upward. And this is what starts to create that spinning out there. And we get that infamous rotation with these dust devils. So as the air rises in, it fills in that low pressure system down there at the ground. That circulation increases, picking up the dust, causing that dust devil like the videos we just got. And that process continues until you get some colder air to kind of move into that base of the dust devil, and that kind of causes it to fall apart. So as we watch that video, it eventually starts to fizzle out there. These dust devils never really last for more than maybe 5 minutes at most. More often, they last maybe 30 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. So they are typically very quick in terms of how long they last, but they can be pretty dangerous as well. They can pick up that debris like tornadoes can. They can throw it around, so it can be very dangerous within the center of that. So make sure that if you do see a dust devil, no, it's not necessarily a tornado, but it's still not something to play around with.
Yeah, it can still have damaging wind gusts like we saw there. We still had some debris lofted up into the air. Some of those tents looked like they were about to go with that dust devil as well. Yeah, I remember one time too, I was driving from Santa Fe to Albuquerque, and it was just this hot summer afternoon. And you could look out in the desert and just see dust devil going up. Oh, like one after another, just out there in the desert. So, it's days like that where you have hot sunshine, a mostly cloudless sky, just baking that desert out there, and that creates that rising motion to eventually get that spinning going, and you can get those dust devils to form. Yeah, just another incredible weather video we have for you out there. We love getting these weather videos too. They're phenomenal because, like we said earlier, we'd have no idea that some of these kind of weather phenomena happen if we didn't get your videos.
Exactly, because we cover from southern Colorado all the way down to the Texas state line. So we're not able to see everything that's happening all the time. So those videos are crucial for us to tell people what we're seeing, what's happening, where we are missing things.
Yeah, exactly. I remember too, there was another video I actually got in, man, what was that? Was that January, December of this year? It was the first documented tornado. Was it in the month of January
it was
in New Mexico? So that was actually a bit of a land spout, and it formed similar to the way that dust devil did. But I was going to bring that up because that one carried a bunch of tumbleweeds with it too, and just launched them up in the air. So these dust devils carry more than just sand with them or dust. Depending on the part of the state you're in, they can carry plenty of tumbleweeds with them too. And Josh was alluding to this earlier. It's probably pretty unfortunate if you're caught in one because they're pretty short-lived. It's hard to try and run away from one. It's probably forming where you're at if it's happening. But like you said, the best thing to do is just seek a little bit of shelter until it's passed, especially if you're in a dust devil that is that large. Usually, it's probably just going to run through in about 5 to 30 seconds.
Yeah, it'll be quick, but still.
They're pretty.
Don't be caught in it.
Yeah, they're pretty short-lived. Thankfully, they don't cause too many problems. But like we saw there, they can cause wind damage sometimes. But if you take a look at that video one more time, the Dust Devil video, because I love seeing it. It's so good. This is why I saved it for the last part of this, because it is just incredible. Like I said there, you can start to see some of that circulation get carried up, and then more and more sand and dust just gets lofted away. Lofted up into the air with this dust devil. Josh, have you ever seen a dust devil like this before?
Not anywhere near this magnitude. I mean, I grew up on the East Coast, and we would have dust devils from time to time through each afternoon and evening. So they were typically very, very tiny, and they would, be gone in a matter of seconds. But this is massive.
Yeah.
It's so incredible to see.
Yeah, like I said, I could watch this video over and over again. All right, well, thank you so much for tuning in to Beyond the Forecast, where we break down the science of New Mexico's weather. We hope you learned a couple of things or two to explain some of those viral videos, and we hope to see you in the next episode.